Well, hello to all of my friends, and welcome to your favorite podcast. Okay, me. Okay, this is episode 4, you guys, and the title of this episode is called "Rule Out." You are listening to a new series called Waves, which is basically my medical issues that I'm going through that are mysterious, mysterious medical issues, and you're listening to Sloan Talks. Okay, you guys, as promised in episode 3, I said that in episode 4, we would talk about all of the things that we are ruling out. Okay, all of the testing, all of the scans that have been done because we are trying to rule out what it's not, right? This has been an interesting 2 years. If you were just joining, you guys, please make sure you listen to the other episodes in this amazing series, okay? My symptoms started on April 2023. And so I take you guys all the way back on all the episodes. So make sure that you guys start at episode 1 so that you are caught up to understand what we're talking about in episode 4, which you're listening to right now. Also, shout out to all of my friends that are listening here on Spotify and also on my YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys so very much. Okay. So you guys listen. Here is where it all starts. On September 21st, 2023, it was my very first MRI, and this was an MRI with brain contrast. Also, please note, I am not a medical professional. I am not a doctor. In fact, I studied marketing, and my bachelor's degree is in marketing. So anything that's like medical that I may be like getting wrong, you guys feel free to correct me because I do want to be as accurate as possible on like pronouncing some of these things, or like if I say that this is what I was, tested for this, if I'm wrong, you guys, all my medical girlies and guys, correct me in the comments because I want to make sure that this is very accurate for others who may be facing exactly what I'm facing. All right. So first off, September 21st, 2023, I had an MRI with a brain contrast. This was like literally my first thing that was ever done medically testing for vertigo. And like I said, this one is the rule out episode. So we're going through all of the testing and scans that were done to rule out all the things. So first up, the MRI with the brain contrast was done on September 21st, 2023. That was my very first MRI, you guys, and it was actually the worst experience I've ever had in my life. I'm going to spare you the worst details that you'll ever hear about any medical procedure that has ever been done, but if you've had an MRI, you know where I'm going with this. Okay, it was torture. All right. Basically, you guys, you are put into a chamber, okay? And first of all, if you have vertigo, movement is difficult, okay? So I'm laying on the MRI bed and they're literally pushing me into the tunnel slowly, like, my eye is going bloop, 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 bloop. Ma'am, baby, I can't even... Man, movement on a TV screen bothered me at this point. Like, I couldn't watch TV at this point of my journey. It was no TV. I couldn't even watch I don't know if I can say that. Is that copyright? I couldn't even say my favorite football team. I couldn't even watch football. Like, it was really bad. This thing is going in at like 1 freaking mile an hour into a tunnel, into this abyss of darkness. Okay. When you're in there, what's happening? Huh? Nothing at first. And then they decide to push your body in an upward motion towards the ceiling of the chamber. So if just going freaking into the chamber wasn't bad, how about we just push you closer to the ceiling? I'm sorry, why would you do that? Literally, when people describe an MRI, I've heard them say it's like being buried alive, and it is. Okay? 0 out of 10 would never recommend. So they push you closer to the wall or to the ceiling where literally my nose felt like it was touching the top of the chamber. Because it was a brain MRI, this means that my head was inside of a basket contraption where I couldn't look left, look right, and I was to stay still. They put a little emergency, like, ball, little, what is it called? Like a little alert button in your hand, and they're like, squeeze this in time of an emergency. And let me tell you something. The way I held that little ball and was like, I'm going to squeeze it now. And I was like, no, just relax. You have to get this done. We have to figure out what's wrong with you. This is for your health. Don't give up now. They're almost done. You can push through. I was like talking these things in my head. And I had to push through, and I did not press the button for emergency. But you guys, I didn't even get to the worst part of the MRI. The sound. Huh? Every time a sound would like go off, it would literally scare me to like where my heart would beat really fast. Like it would trigger fear in me. If you're unaware, an MRI is extremely loud. They give you earplugs. I also heard that they also have silent MRIs. Not really sure if that's a bougie version, but I didn't have the bougie version. I have the hood one. Okay. And so the hood one was really loud. All right. There's a lot of clamoring. All right. A lot of clamoring and noises happening. So I'm in there and the noise starts and it sounds like a jackhammer, just tap, 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 tap. And then it's like, beep. It's like the dial up for like internet from back in the day when you had to use the internet, but your mom won't use the phone, but like you had to share. So sometimes you pick up the phone and be like, dial up. Okay, I'm going to spare you just in case someone has PTSD from these MRI machines. But let's just say it was the single worst experience I've ever been in my life. All right. Of course, I'm like extremely nauseous. I'm laying on my back, by the way. And at that point, still today, I don't lay on my back. I lay on a wedge to sleep. So laying flat already made me feel like I was, quite frankly, dying. But I got through the MRI with brain contrast. I got through it. And that was just on one day. September 21st, 2023. And the next day, you guys, I had my first physical therapy. Why ain't nobody told me that it's not a good idea to go to an MRI on one day and then physical therapy for the first time on the second day? I don't know, but I did it. Okay. And you guys, at that time, on September 22nd, 2023, I had not driven a car or been a passenger in a car since my first incident of vertigo, which was on April 2023. So that's April. How the months go? February, March, April, and then May, June, right? July, August, September. So 5 months of me being almost housebound. Housebound, you can say not driving distance area things. Like, for example, if I walked to the park, it was physically walking because, of course, I could not get into a car and drive to the grocery store. So for 5 months, you guys, I had not been a passenger or a driver. And I was taking my very first day, you guys, to actually go to my physical therapist, which happened to be 40 miles away. Why? Because I needed it. And there was no other therapist nearby. So you guys, here I go. I get in the car. And at that time, and it was very nice community, you guys. At that time, I was in all of these like Facebook groups. So I remember reaching out to them like, hey, you guys, I haven't been in a car in many, many months. What can I expect? Are there any tips and tricks? And they're like, oh, take a, Dramamine, just all these kind of like tips and tricks of how to get into a car when you literally cannot be in a car. So another person said grounding technique where you put sandbags on your lap. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'll do that. So I get in the car. I'm the driver. I put the sandbags on my lap. It's a quote grounding technique. And I start driving. Sure enough, I get to the top of my hill and everything is blurry. When I tell you top of my hill, you guys, it's literally the stop sign after my house. So how in the world am I going to drive 40 miles? Huh? Take a deep breath. I go, all right. So I found out that I cannot look at other things. I have to focus either on a small piece of the road at a time, but the peripheral vision, I cannot look from right to left. Like I need Mr. Sloan to help me look from right to left. Of course, he went with me. So he's my passenger, but he's also kind of like my driver too. And I say, you know what, if I can focus on one small piece of something instead of being overwhelmed by an image of a lot, maybe I can get through this driving. I can get to my therapy and I'll be just fine. So get to the top of the hill. I get blurry. Drive down to the bottom. Worst experience ever, because every time you descend or ascend, if you don't know, like your inner ear and your balance, your equilibrium, whatever it's called, it gets a little bit distorted. So I was like, I'm just going to get through by looking at something small. You guys, the trick that worked for me was to stare at, I kid you not, a letter on the back of everybody's license plate in front of me. So what I did was probably towards the bottom of the hill was the first car interaction I had. Otherwise, I was alone on the road. So the first car that comes in front of me, I stare at the letter Y or something on their license plate. We drive all the way through. And let's say that person ended up turning. And then maybe I was ready to stop at another stoplight and then someone else got in front. So now I'm staring at the letter P on the little tip of that person's license plate. And I did that, you guys, for 40 miles even on the freeway, because I did have to get on the freeway, I did have to change. Let me just think of the direction. How many freeways did I go through? Okay, good. So that one was only one freeway straight out. I didn't have to go to the like junction to transfer to another freeway. It was just one freeway all the way through. And I get down to the bottom of the hill, you guys, and I get a phone call. It's my therapist. He calls me and he's like, hey, I know that you have an appointment with me today. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I know I'm so far away from you and I know you have like vestibular issues. Would you like to come closer? I'm bawling my eyes out. I just start crying. I was like, yes, please. I can't drive. I'm having a hard time getting there. And he goes, next week. I said, boy. So it's like, to confirm, I still have to actually drive 40 miles today. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not in that office today, but I will be going forward. All of your appointments will not be at this location anymore. So that gave me the tenacity and the like drive to be like, I can do this. It's only for one day. The rest of my appointments will be closer to my house. And by closer, you guys, I literally mean like it was a 13-minute drive compared to that, I don't know, 35-minute drive that I was going to go on the first day. So I said, fine, thank you. I appreciate it. So now we're back on the road. I'm looking at everybody's license plate. We get to the place. Of course, he's super sweet. He is so kind and so gentle. Oh my gosh, am I going to be emotional? So my first appointment with him, I think it went well. He would ask me questions like, are you okay? Is the lighting in here okay? How was the pattern on the curtains? I know you told me that patterns distort your eyes. It makes you dizzy. How are the patterns? Sorry, you guys. So for a first appointment, he was perfect. He was everything I could have wished for. Maybe to like give me hope that everything was actually going to be okay. So that's that appointment. That was my first time actually meeting with a doctor outside of my PCP, and he was my physical therapist. And like, you know, when you go to a MRI, it's not like you're actually meeting with a doctor. It's just like technicians that, you know, put you in the machine. So that was nice. That was nice. I think the other reason why this makes me emotional is because six weeks after we started, he turns to me and goes, we're done. And I go, I'm sorry. We're done with what? And he's like, I'm just going to say that I think your sessions are complete. And I'm going to mark you off and tell your PCP that basically there's nothing that I can do to help you anymore. I think that you should see acupuncturist and a chiropractor. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so I'm sorry, just to clarify, are you saying that like you're done because there's like no hope for me, or like what is, I'm sorry, I don't understand. He's like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like as far as like my realm, I don't see that as continuing would benefit you. You guys, I was bawling my eyes out. And I remember thinking like, wow, like he like gave up on me. You know what I mean? Like 6 weeks, and I kept going, oh, you know what? Even when we kind of like got towards the middle, he's like, we'll probably do 8 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'll probably do an extension for you. And then he threw that on me that, I think we're going to be done. And I was like, I'm sorry. I thought be done mean I'm going to feel better. By that time, I did not feel better, you guys. I had still had really, really bad symptoms. And so that was a blow to me. That was a blow and a shock. And so on October 23rd, I had my first mental health appointment with a therapist. And of course, I tell her all of this. Like, yeah, I was doing physical therapy and he kind of dumped me and it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. I know I have like abandonment issues, and we know where this comes from. All of my friends who are listening, you guys know where my abandonment issues come from, but it's 100% from my mom, 100% from my dad. Like, this is childhood abandonment issues that I know I have to deal with. And we did talk about this in therapy. But I guess I just expected for me to be healed by 8 weeks. Of course, because you're like reading stuff online and you're like in these groups and you're like, oh yeah, 6 to 8 weeks of therapy, you'll be back to normal. Absolutely not. That's not how my story went. And I was really, really hard on myself that by the end of 6 weeks, and he's like, okay, we're done. And I'm like, done with what? What happened? Where's the results? Like, I want to see a change from when I started to when I ended, and I did not. So that was hard on me. So, January 30th, 2024, you guys, now we're in the year 2024. I had my first chiropractic appointment and she was a 10 out of 10, you guys. So amazing. So fun. We started the treatments twice a week and they were really, really, really like good. Like, I could say that my symptoms had definitely decreased starting chiropractic. I know some people are against it, like in the shoulder, neck kind of world, but I think they really did help me, which I'm so grateful for. And then on March, you guys, 2024, I said, I'm leaving my doctor. What? My PCP, I felt like let me also clarify this. I didn't leave her because I felt like I thought she would heal me and I wasn't healed. I left her because I felt like she didn't know who I was. So I'll explain what happened one day. As you can tell, you guys, we started this in 2023. Now we're literally in 2024 of March. I walk in one day and I'm in her office and she goes, oh, hi. I was like, hi, small talk. And then she goes, so you're here for... I look at her like, dizziness and vertigo. She's like, okay, I'm sorry. Sis, you didn't know who I am? Like, that's so discouraging. Like, I feel like I had no like plan of treatment. I had no like order for like, you're going to do this next, and then I'm going to follow up with you here, and then after your MRI. In fact, you guys, after my MRI, I didn't hear anything from her or her office. That was it. The MRI was done, and I remember being like, messaging her, like in the app, like, hey, I had my MRI. Is there going to be another appointment with you? Or not me. So I feel like I was literally being my own doctor from when it started to March 2024. So March 2024, I changed doctors to my husband's doctor, who was super thorough and super sweet. And I told her that. I was like, you know what? And I'm not going to I'm not a gossiper. You guys know that about me. But I'm not going to start talking bad about another doctor to another doctor. All I told her was, I just want to make certain that I didn't leave her because I felt like she didn't, quote, cure me of vertigo. Like, in fact, as I'm sitting here now, I don't know if I'll ever be cured from vertigo. I don't know if I'll live with this for the rest of my life. So what I said was, I left her because I felt like I was just a number to her. Like, oh, let's go see number 12 in room 8. And then she goes, and you're here for... Yeah, not after a year. Like, maybe if it was like a week or 2 weeks or like 4. Ma'am, this has been a year. I've been seeing you for 1 full year, and you asked me, what am I here for? That was like the end of it for me. I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. And also no follow-up after having a full MRI with a brain contrast. That's kind of a lot. I didn't even get to the brain contrast part, you guys. First half of the MRI was without any injection. And then the second half of the MRI, I'm laying on the bed, my arm is out, and they inject me with some sort of, I'm guessing the contrast part, through my freaking veins. I start tasting stuff in my mouth. It was just horrible. So anyway, we're going to stop talking about MRI because that is the worst of the worst, okay? So I changed my PCP. She's so sweet and I love her. That was in March. Immediately, she put me on a Holter monitor to check me for POTS. I wore that for like, I think 7 days. And you guys, the crazy thing about that is I live streamed with it on me. Yep, I did live stream personal shopping with that Holter monitor on my freaking chest. It was as big as day. I had to wear like baggy t-shirts and like zip up like little jackets, little like the BBL jacket that was like the crop one. I had to wear that to like, because it was like ruched across the top so that you couldn't see the bulge in it. I wonder if I have a picture in my Holter monitor. But I don't want to get emotional again. after we took the Holter monitor off, it left a really big scar on my chest. So here I am live streaming with this huge scar. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but on some of the lives, I would have to take makeup and cover that big old scar. I kid you not. It was like, how big was the Holter monitor? Like 6 inches? That thing was big as heck. And I'm a petite body. Okay, I'm a petite girly with A cups. So they put that big old monitor on me, and I'm trying to like hide it with like a little baggy t-shirt, like my little bestie shirt, my little hoodie. And no. And then leaving that big old scar and me tapping makeup on it so I can go live every day. That scar probably cleared in like 4 months. And I'm like, I wonder if you guys noticed. Maybe I'll post it in my stories. Yep. I'm going to go find like one of the worst scar pictures I have, and I'm going to post it so you guys can see that actually was from the Holter monitor. So that's all of the timeline for all of the testing things that were done. But as far as like lab work, I've been through the gamut of lab work. I'm going to just go over that briefly because that's just so many things. I've been tested. I had a urine cortisol test. I had vitamin A tested, my iron, my ferritin levels, my B12, vitamin B, vitamin D, hemoglobin. And then for specialists, I've seen cardiopulmonary specialists, audiologists, neurology, ophthalmologist, ENT, optometrist. Those are just the ones that I could remember seeing. Those are the ones. And then I had meclizine given to me for my motion sickness. So that's the medicines if you're interested in what medicine I was on. But the meclizine, we all know how meclizine is. So once again, you guys, this episode is about rule out. The next episode would be about all of my results from all of these things I'm telling you about. So what was my ferritin? Was that normal? What was my brain contrast? Did that show anything? All of that. What did I get out of physical therapy? I briefly talked about how chiropractic was super great for me, but like, what did I get out of that? All of those things will be discussed in my next episode, you guys, for episode 5. Okay, so if you're listening, make sure you come back, you guys, next week. Okay, my shopping schedule has been a bit off because I keep giving bonus Saturday shopping experiences. So I would say this Sunday, we're going to go back to our Sunday schedule of me dropping these podcasts on Sundays for you guys to listen to. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So next Sunday, get ready for episode 4. No, 5. Episode 5. You're listening to 4 now. But that's it, you guys. That's it. That's my rule out. What did we rule out? I guess you'll kind of find out in the next episode. So technically, this was like a little teaser. If you guys are experiencing anything and you wanted to share with the group, also don't feel, embarrassed or shy. You can share down below in the comment section here on Spotify, or if you're listening on YouTube, you can share in the YouTube section. Or as always, you guys know that my live streams are a safe place for everyone. I've created that out of my own health, right? It's become a place where we all feel safe and happy. And some of us, maybe we should play a drinking game. Every time I cry in this episode, take a drink. Some of us need an escape. So I hope that's what my lives are from you guys. I am here on Spotify, but I am a live stream personal shopper. You can catch me on TikTok. And my name is Sloan Shops TV over there. Make sure you guys are following me there and joining in my live streams and joining in on our chats with each other. It's not just about shopping. It's become beyond shopping. And I'm so grateful that it has been, because I feel like it's taken its own shape of what the community has made it. And I just stepped back. The community has made it what it is, and it's because of you guys. It's not me. Like, I step back and like I let you guys do your thing. In fact, sometimes my husband, Mr. Sloan, will be like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "I didn't see it." I'm like, "Did you see that?" "I didn't see it." It's your community. That's it. I just enjoy you. I'm just vibing. I'm just vibing and shopping. I'm just having a good time. So yes, I love you guys, and thank you for your support. And I hope that you're enjoying this series. I think you guys that episode 6 will be a season finale. So episode 5 is next. Episode 6 is a season finale. It is. I'm making episode 6 a little bit controversial because the topic is very controversial. So that's why I'm doing it last, because I don't know how the community will feel about that topic. You know what I mean? You guys, did I really just put my ink pen on my doggone beautiful cream ottoman? All right, I gotta go clean it. All right, you guys, I love you and thank you for listening. And you're listening to Sloan Talks.